Blow in her face and she'll follow you anywhere.
You are destroying the Constitution of the United States. May God have mercy on your souls.
Good day.
Yes.
Sir, say. Good day.
We could be saved if we just elected the right white man to power.
That's creepy, but that's in a different category of creepy.
Zit-zoo, zit-zoo, zit-zoo.
Gary Gygax. Of course he introduced zoning laws.
Okay.
You know what? Don't.
Yeah.
The less I have to do with that game, the better.
Here's my favorite part of the defense. Claudius was probably fucking his sister.
Jughead, not Jarhead. I have nothing against Marines. I want to make that very clear. I'd be really interested to find out what fucking truth that woman was trying to get at.
Like with most episodes, I can bring it back to wrestling. Oh. Right, well, he's got other people who work for him who also do things, and they can transmutate human size into smaller worlds, after all.
Fuck you.
I still don't give a shit about getting fake property in a fantasy game. A Geek History of Time,
where we connect nerdery to the real world. My name is Ed Blaylock. I am a newly free for the summer world history teacher, currently not doing any teaching. I'm seasonally unemployed at the moment, but for the last month and a half, 2 months now, doing distance learning here in the plague-riddled wastelands of Northern California. And I am the father of a 2-year-old little boy who has now gotten into the habit of spotting dragons regularly when we are out and about, which makes me quite proud. So how about you, sir?
I'm Damian Harmony. I am a Latin teacher. I am also no longer distance learning, but I kind of am because I'm running a boot camp for the summer for kids who want to get into the AP class. So, yes, the plague has hit our lands. My daughter has just turned 8. My son is 10 and a half. My daughter she has her own bow and arrow now. And we have the hay set out back, and I'm refusing to let her fire any arrows until she can pass certain tests with her bow. And so she's really been working her form. One is you have to be able to draw your bow 7 times in a row with good form. You also have to be able to hold the last draw for 10 seconds. If you can do all those things, we can trust you with an arrow, because what if someone runs in front of you?
All right, conditioning.
Yeah. Yes, and so
the Hemaist in me approves of this.
Yes, so she's getting a lot of reps in, and she's also already painted her bow.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was matte black, and she's like, "I'm gonna paint stuff on it." So she painted the draconic word for bow and arrow on it, I think. So,
nice.
Yeah, she's all about that. So, and my son is just really enjoying learning Latin, actually. Yeah, I've started teaching them Latin. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
Chips, blocks. All right. Yeah. Awesome.
So, okay. When last we spoke, we were sorting Marvel superheroes into Hogwarts, and we ran into the problem that the Avengers, we kept a short team. The Guardians of the Galaxy, it's usually only limited to 5 or 6 anyway. Yeah. But then we ran into the X-Men, and there's too many of them for too long that you kind of have to cover them. So... yeah, we're sorting them into different houses. We've already spoken to J.K. Rowling and her shittiness and her turfness. So I'm just going to mention that. If you want to hear it again, go back to the previous episode. But so there's 4 houses: Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff. In other words, fire, water, air, and earth. Yep. And we've already kind of set the parameters. So 1 sentence on each house so that we can get this ball moving. Go.
All right. So Gryffindor is courage to the level of foolhardiness. The flip side, courage versus foolhardiness. Slytherin is drive and ambition. Flip side is amorality. Mm-hmm. In the service of drive, ends justifying means. Ravenclaw is the pursuit of truth. Mm-hmm. with the flip side, the downside, the dark side being obsessiveness and or getting locked up in your own head, paralysis by analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hufflepuff is loyalty, community, family hearth.
Oh.
Probably.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, let's be real. I mean,
no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But upside, family, loyalty, community. Downside is codependency, dogmatism,
grudge
stasis.
Holding. Yeah.
Stasis, grudge holding.
Yeah. Good. All right. That just gave me the idea for another show. We should Kinsey scale Hogwarts. We should not.
No.
But
no, dear God, no. No. A world of no.
Yeah. All right.
And I think the less said about that because I'm already getting all
like preferred position of each house. Just...
Well, I was about to go on record saying, I'm pretty sure that Ravenclaw would have the highest percentage of arrows of the four.
That's true.
I'm sorry, I'm too locked up in my own intellect to want to fuck anybody. What? No.
Yeah, they'd be masturbating to their own writings.
To their own genius.
That's their preferred position.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Slytherin is going to have absolutely the best dungeon, best equipped. Whether you're dom or sub, you're going to find your best counterpart in Slytherin because they're two sides of the same coin that Slytherin just embodies.
They'll do the aftercare better than anyone will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but Hufflepuff is, Ozzy and Harriet, kind of,
Hufflepuff is the 69 house. They're just going to be taking care of each other all day long, only foreplaying.
Okay, yeah, zipless fuck.
Yeah. Whereas Gryffindor is going to have a mirror across from the bed and insist on doggy style.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So.
Why you gotta at me?
So, all right. Well, this was gross.
This was, yeah.
And we're not editing this out. So tell me.
Are you kidding? This is gold.
Wolverine. What house does he belong in?
Okay. So this is where we come up against the fact that Gryffindor and Slytherin are two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, he is the quintessential berserker.
He is.
Of everybody in the X-Men universe. He is the no, I don't think you understand. You can't kill me.
Right.
I
can literally do this all century.
I can keep going. I can keep going endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the go straight at him thing is very much in his wheelhouse. And let's talk about somebody with a hot head and no impulse control.
Good point.
And also, it should be noted, a very strong internal personal code of honor and ethics.
Very true.
All of which militates very hard toward Gryffindor. On the other hand, I'm the best at what I do, and what I do ain't very nice. That's
a very Slytherin thing to say.
And he is a killer.
Yeah.
It is made very clear repeatedly that he is anti-heroic.
Mm-hmm.
He is not Scott. He and Scott Summers are held up by the writers repeatedly as being the yin and yang of
Apollonian and Dionysian.
Apollonian, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And he is all Dionysus to Scott's Apollo. And so that I'm gonna when his attitude is, when I get into a fight, the rules go out the window. There are no rules. The only rule is if you win, you get to walk away.
Right.
And ninja and all of that Yakuza stuff in his background and all that other stuff
Mm-hmm.
points very strongly toward Slytherin.
Okay.
The length of time he's capable of holding a grudge is, to us,
Supernatural.
super preternatural, and that as a trait militates toward Hufflepuff, and he is very intensely loyal to those people that he cares about.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Ravenclaw in this guy like at all. He is not a creature of his intellect. He's a creature of his senses and his being.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm going to go as a Gryffindor and a Wolverine stan. I want to claim him for Gryffindor, but I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna say my read goes with Slytherin because I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice.
Okay. That's very compelling. I'm going to go far afield and say that he is actually Hufflepuff.
Okay.
And people are usually surprised at this because he's so damn violent. So just think of like the militant arm of Hufflepuff. And you've got him. Like, look at his colors, first of all.
Okay. Well, all right.
All
Yeah.
right. Look at his name and what animal is similar to a Wolverine that was actually possibly a name for him in the beginning.
All right. Son of a bitch.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
And he has a tremendous sense of loyalty.
Okay.
In fact, the grudges he bears are people who broke that loyalty. He just expresses his loyalty very violently. But ultimately it comes down to whom is he protecting and how forcefully. Here's a quote by him. A death isn't like losing a job or or getting divorced. You don't get over it. You have to integrate it into your life, learn to live with it. But life does get better. He's taking care of people.
Yes, and as you talk about that, then we get into his mentoring role as he mellowed out, got older, spent more time around the X-Men, and Xavier kind of rubbed off on him. That comes more to the forefront. Yeah,
and he's really old, so he has a longer view. He's got a fatalistic view in some ways because he's old, but his friendships and relationships defined who he was. Here's a quote that he gives on Nightcrawler. He says, "Kurt was the only guy that ever looked me in the eyes like a man and spoke to me like one and treated me like one, no matter what I did or where I was or how I felt. He was my best friend, and he never treated me like a damn animal. And now he's gone. And for what? You better be worth this, I swear to God." And that's somebody that he's, making sure, they earn Kurt's sacrifice. This is why he was in many ways the heart of the X-Men. And it was just like such a counter-typical dude, because like he was so violent. Like he was the extremity of violence.
And antisocial.
Yeah, and yet he is the core of what draws that dysfunctional family together.
Here's the thing. He is he is your mom friend if your mom friend was unkillable, had an unbreakable skeleton, and like literal swords that popped out of their hand.
Right, exactly.
Like Mama Bear to the Papa Wolf is the spear version of that trope, but Papa Wolf to the nth degree. Yeah, okay, and the more I think about it, him and his relationship to Kitty Pryde.
Yep, and Jubilee later on, and how he was toward Colossus and like pretty much everybody.
He's the big brother friend to like a generation of X-Men.
Yeah, and then he ends up being headmaster. Like sets aside his violent ways, and he runs it because it has to be done.
Yeah. Well, he winds up going from the lone wandering samurai trope,
right,
to the gunslinger who's hung up his guns trope.
Yes.
The old gunslinger trope.
He's a more lethal version of Hawkeye in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has the advantage over Hawkeye in that I'm trying to figure out how to verbalize this, and advantage might be the wrong way of putting it, but the kind of the dividing line between them is that Hawkeye, I love Hawkeye to death, but he's kind of a fuck up. Like they
He
even
is.
highlight it. They kind of
Yeah.
highlight it in the book. Like, okay, wait a minute. There's a great panel that shows up on Facebook every so often.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing a video game and somebody else is looking over his shoulder. It might be Nat. I don't remember, but she's saying, okay, so wait, you're being chased by the army in this game. You're falling out of a helicopter. You're on fire. Clint, it's a fishing game. How did you do that? You know.
That's really good. That's really good. That's like taking that trope of, sir, this is a Wendy's, like, and just turning it on its head. I like it.
Flipping it on its head.
I like it.
And his response is just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about Professor X. Give me one sentence for why he is in the house that you've put him in.
World's most powerful telepath, Ravenclaw.
Okay, cool. I say he's Slytherin because of what he's willing to do with that. He uses it willingly to control other people and to invade their thoughts and take advantage of their mental weaknesses. He manipulates people on the regular. Here's a quote from him. Nor do I have his powers, though I trust I simulated them convincingly. I regret this distasteful charade, but a bit of misdirection was necessary to protect my true identity. That was early on. That's like in the 60s when I'm reading it. He's resourceful with those abilities. He's part of a family of very wealthy people, elite, extremely rich, and he uses that wealth to a good end. He knows the right way, and he insists that all who follow him do things the same way. And when he's raising the X-Men, he says, "We have awesome powers, my X-Men. It is our birthright and perhaps our burden. But as Valerie said, with that power comes responsibility and also accountability. I owe it to the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, to everyone who was injured by Onslaught to go now. It's the right thing to do, and it's the best thing to do." So he's like, this is how it has to be. And that's ultimately what brings him at loggerheads with Scott, who is the bad version of Gryffindor. And when you have the good version of Slytherin and the bad version of Gryffindor, someone's going to die. So,
yeah, pretty much.
So, all right. Magneto.
Okay, so you've thrown me repeatedly. So I you know, but I'm going to say, he is the mustache twirling stereotype of Slytherin given comic book form.
Okay.
He is a racialist.
Mm-hmm.
He is an elitist. Literally mutant supremacist.
Yep.
As we discussed, talking about the X-Men and the Civil Rights Movement, because those are the tropes that he was built around.
Mm-hmm.
He is brilliantly intelligent. He is a fifth dimensional chess player.
Mm-hmm.
And he is absolutely 100% convinced of his rightness. And is ruthless in what he is willing to do to anybody who gets in his way.
That's true.
So that's pretty much my take on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a risk here, and I'm gonna say I think you're going to go with saying he is a dark side Hufflepuffer because of his determination and his loyalty to his own people and to mutant kind, with stuff being built out from there. But that's
Okay.
That's my guess.
I would say if we took him only on his early run stuff, you're absolutely right. He's bad guy Hufflepuff. But I'm going to say he's Slytherin.
Okay.
And for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned. Normally, here's what's interesting to me. When two people are in direct opposition to each other, like he and Xavier, it's because they're opposite sides of the same coin, where one's Gryffindor, one's Slytherin, right? Cap had the Red Skull, who's clearly a Slytherin.
Yeah.
But in the case of mutants, it's really just good Slytherin versus bad Slytherin who later redeems himself.
Yeah.
And Magneto's redemption arc is very powerful. He was very much about the ends justifying the means, saw mutants, like you said, as superior to humanity. And ultimately, this is his mission to save mutants from humanity. It has to be my way, right? Professor X had the same goal, just a different method. Here's a quote from Magneto. If you know who I am, then you know what I am capable of, the actions I am willing to take to protect my people, and you know why I have come. Earlier in life, he was just as driven, but far more willing to exploit others to do so. And I would say that that's what pulls him away from Hufflepuff in some ways. If he just did it himself, I'd be down. But he manipulates everyone around him all the time while he's a bad guy. So I'd say that brings him more to bad guy Slytherin. But here's
fifth-dimensional chess player.
Right. Whereas Hufflepuff, they don't do that. So here's another quote. How they despise each other. It is only my will, my power that keeps them working together as a team. But I ask not for friendship or for love. All I demand is fear and blind obedience, for I am Magneto, mightiest of all the mutants. I mean, that's really early overwrought stuff, but it's still part of his canon. Yes, he's Dudley.
Pardon me, can you hear me twirling my mustache?
Yeah, he's Snidely Whiplash.
Yes.
Interestingly, Cyclops actually outstrips him in ruthlessness, but not in resourcefulness. That's why I said Cyclops was bad guy Gryffindor. All three of these guys, Magneto, Professor X, and Cyclops, all have this martyrdom complex, though. So here's another quote. To live amongst the stars, to rule jungle kingdoms, to guide entire nations, only to find oneself here. A self-loathing man might see this as deserved punishment. A vain man might compare this to the Christian devil's fall from heaven. Me, I think the coffee's not terrible. I have been known by many names. Max Eisenhart, Eric Lenscher, Magnus, Magneto. Each name marks its own sin, and one day I'll answer for those offenses. But not today. Only my actions, what I do in the name of all mutants, hold any real meaning. You don't get much more redeemed and accepting of your badness as a Slytherin than that.
Yeah, and he, what you say about the martyr complex, I think is interesting, because I think that speaks to the self-directedness of both archetypes, both Slytherin and Gryffindor. You can't have a martyr complex if it's not all about you.
Yeah, that's 100% true, and that's what keeps him out of Hufflepuff, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's what actually keeps Wolverine from being Gryffindor or Slytherin, because he doesn't care about himself. He cares about his communities.
All right.
He's the only constant, and he's cursed with himself. But, you know, and he accepts that, but he is very different than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
that works.
Let's look at Nightcrawler. I grew up as Nightcrawler is my favorite guy.
Witty.
Yeah.
Urbane. Charming.
Has a sword. You have a sword.
You have a sword. No, I don't. I have many. Still get touchy about that. Yeah. Okay. Oh God. Yeah. Not only is it a sword, it's a cup hilt. I mean, whoever the artist is doesn't know what he was trying to draw.
Right. He was going for swashbuckle.
He was going for swashbuckle, but it's the wrong kind of hilt for swashbuckle. But anyway, sorry, the sword nerd.
I like that you're like really pedantic about the sword thing, but like he's a blue guy with like half as many fingers and has a tail, but you're like, well, that sword is the problem.
Okay, well, here's the deal. God damn it. We get hit over the head repeatedly. I mean, if you're in Marvel Comics, you're in New York, right? New York is a real place.
True.
New York has a real history. And all of the artifacts, all of the physical culture of Earth 616 is ours, right? Okay.
That is true.
So people with preternatural powers are the suspension of disbelief thing.
Okay.
So I'm called on to suspend my disbelief about the fact that this guy has, 3 fingers and blue hair.
Yep.
Yeah. And can teleport and a tail. I'm called on to suspend my disbelief about that. Okay, I can do that. Fine. But you got to pick about what it is that you're gonna make me do that about. And I know enough about real world history and how those things came to be that it just bugs me. So that's anyway.
Okay. All right.
That's my explanation of why instinctively I wind up choosing to be pedantic about that, even though it's not really a conscious choice. It's just that one thing that
sure
rankles.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, no, he literally has essentially a cutlass.
Yeah. I guess I would have the same kind of problem if like Rich Rider came home from school and said I got expelled for the day. I'd be like, that's not expulsion. What's wrong with you? Like, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So anyway, going back to the list, literal swashbuckler, is Errol Flynn without the rapiness. And so
True.
we kind of have to go with Gryffindor.
I agree completely. If there is a single X-Man who embodies the fun side of Gryffindor, it is him. He doesn't look before his leaps at all because he can trust his ability to leap so beautifully and land so gracefully anyway.
Yeah, well, and if he winds up getting into, really serious trouble, he doesn't even have to leap. He just bamfs.
Yep.
By the way, I really want to know which of their writers or letterers or who it was who came up with that sound effect.
Just because it means badass motherfucker?
Well, one, but no, it is just such a perfect description
really
of
is. Yeah.
that kind of rushing air.
Yeah.
Kind of noise.
The clapping of all the pink cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's also another one of my favorites. Shocking, a blue guy.
Yeah.
Here's a quote. You must be confused. Beast is a friend of mine. He's blue, though. I'm surprised we don't get confused more often. He's courageous beyond most others because he has a zest for life. Here's another good quote of his. I dare say I was born for this. Raise the flag, X-Men, and let's go be amazing. Like, he's just all about it, right? And he also has so little chill. Quote.
Oh, none.
He said that he said that my coming there had compromised them. It had become too dangerous. These people were no longer worth the risk. He was going to kill them. Well, that was when it started. His callousness, his disregard, I snapped. I had the power. I had the ability. So I used it. Can't be a swashbuckler.
Brother.
Yeah. Can't be a swashbuckler if you're not Gryffindor.
Yeah. No.
So.
My brother.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. All right. Colossus.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have.
Don't have to think about it.
He is the mom friend.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Yeah.
He's literally the big brother of magic.
Yeah.
And
the kind of doting jock boyfriend for Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's really he's one of those ones that's really straightforward, and I think that's also part of what makes him a Hufflepuff is he is so, literally what you see here is what you get. He is he is the big strong guy with the heart of an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the gentle giant with a sensitive soul.
Yep.
and the ironclad moral compass.
Yeah. He cares about fairness above all else, right? Like you said, he's strong, he's durable, he's patient as a mountain, unless somebody's at risk, like you said. He's especially susceptible to threats to his sister, Ileana, or to Kitty Pryde, or the rest of the X-Men. So here's a quote. "I'm sorry, Doctor. I hope you will understand why I must do this. I have battled living islands. I have fought sentinels whose sole purpose was to kill mutants. I have helped to save the universe more than once. I have done all this and more, and yet the hardest thing I have ever done was watch helplessly as my sister's life was taken by the legacy virus. Someday there may be a cure that does not require a sacrifice. Someday the violence will end. Someday children like Ileana will not be victims of a war they are not a part of. But I cannot stand by for even 1 hour knowing someone else's little sister is dying from this disease. Snowflake, I am coming home." Just absolutely throwing himself across the wire so that other men can march over.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's the gentle version of what Wolverine is.
Yeah.
He's friendly. Wolverine's cranky.
Cranky is such an understatement, but yeah. And he has that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful speech that we see the page, because it's not just a panel, it's like a splash page. That's him, and I don't remember who the two younger mutants are, but it's the wonderful speech about no children, you need to understand, and it's about racism and about prejudice and about hatred, but it's these things are always jokes. It always starts out as just a joke.
Oh, right, I remember that. Yeah.
And it is one of the best bits of social justice warrior writing anybody in recent years, I think, has done at Marvel.
Yeah.
And like, I cannot imagine that speech coming from anybody else and not seeming corny.
Yeah, but with him, you expect it and believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a quote. "You know nothing. She is our friend, our comrade in battle. She could be dead, and you act as if you do not even care. Well, Colossus cares." Like, just...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Heart on his sleeve.
Yep. I was thinking that exact thing, actually, yeah. So finally, Jean Grey.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah. She literally gets stuck in her own head as a telepath and a telekinetic.
Yeah.
She's thoughtful more
than
she's...
There's a whole story arc about it.
Oh, yeah. She's thoughtful more than she's a genius, but she is also plenty smart. In many ways, she's the one who cares about people enough to think about them. So she's like the best version of a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Here's a quote. "Life doesn't make sense in isolation. We need to be free to make mistakes and to make those mistakes together." So while that speaks to community, it also speaks to that search for truth. You gotta,
Well, and speaking of truths, in the recent plot line where her and Iceman and Cyclops wind up getting transported from the 60s to the present day, and so you have old ! Jean Grey and young ! Jean Grey.
Right.
She's the one who puts two and two together as a telepath and tells Bobby. Basically tells Bobby. I mean, like, outs Bobby, but he's to himself because he's so busy, suppressing all of that.
Right.
That she looks at him and goes, "You're gay."
Right. And she doesn't mean to do it either. That's the thing. She gets so lost in her search for truth. She got lost in someone else's head.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even her own head.
Right.
Somebody else's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the important thing of that is it wasn't something that she, like, Wolverine, if it were Wolverine that was the one that was put in that narrative position, Wolverine would do it by, sense of smell and his gut and, all of that kind of stuff. And it would be this
Right.
intuitive thing.
Right.
She calculated it out. It was a
Yes.
process of deduction.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she had gotten to the end of the deduction, it just came out of her mouth, because that's what happens when you finish deducing something. You say it.
You share that truth. Yeah.
You share that truth, even if it's unwelcome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's
Okay.
a like you said, she's logical. She's reasonable. She's trying to contain the damage of the world-rending spirit that inhabited her. She argues unassailably that she needs to be killed, not saved. Like, she maths it out, and she says, quote, "Scott, am I worth it? I destroyed a world in my mind. I can still hear the screams of the dying, and it felt good. I don't want that feeling ever again, and yet I do." And she's like, "I have to die."
Yeah.
She begs him to kill her, and he has the hardest time doing it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right.
Scott fucking Summers, but
yeah. So there's a lot more that I wanted to tackle, but I saved the most interesting for last. So what superhero has been left off this list, conspicuous by their absence?
Oh, man. Well, a few come to, like everybody on the Fantastic Four occurs to me as not being here.
Yeah.
Well, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Do you want to? Should we run through the Fantastic Four? I don't have any quotes, but I bet you we could probably agree.
We could
75% at least.
At least.
Yeah.
Ben Grimm is definitely a Hufflepuff.
Yes. So is Susan Storm.
And Susan Storm is definitely a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm's clearly
Gryffindor. Like full stop.
Yeah. I guess we may end up disagreeing or needing to convince each other on Reed. I say that he's Slytherin.
No, you don't need to convince me.
Okay, there you go. So maybe that's why I didn't do them. They were just so damned easy.
Yeah, well.
But what an interesting team. You don't have the four houses represented by the Fantastic Four.
No, indeed you don't.
Yeah.
You have, because the intellect, the brain of the bunch of them is morally... I mean, you could make an argument for him being a Ravenclaw.
He's too fluid, literally fluid with his morality. Yeah. So he's water.
Yeah. It isn't ever a matter of him just getting locked up in his own head and forgetting about morals. It's him having something he thinks is more important.
I think the one closest to being Ravenclaw in that dynamic would be Sue Storm, but I think she's too much the doormat Hufflepuff.
Yeah, the other flip side, the other dark side of Hufflepuff is just being a doormat, and too often, the codependency thing is just too strong.
All right. So Spider-Man.
Well,
is he Hufflepuff? Okay. Is he Gryffindor? Is he Ravenclaw? Is he Slytherin? Tell me why.
Okay, I'm gonna rule Slytherin out.
Okay.
Simply because his moral compass is a defining trait.
Okay.
And ends versus means is not a conversation he gets into.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Slytherin off the table.
All right. Now that you've eliminated that, let me read to you a couple quotes.
Okay.
"We're not just our failures. As much as they hurt, we learn from them. Then we go out there and do our best to make up for them, even though we never will. We save people. We save as many as we can to make up for the ones we couldn't. That's all we do."
Okay.
Here's another quote. "But it's not the same thing. All these years I've done my best to make up for that. I wore this suit, gone out there and put my life on the line again and again, but no matter how hard I try, people die."
Yep.
You say you don't want responsibility? Guess what? People like us, we don't get a choice.
Yep.
All right.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm. I've got more quotes. So you say yours.
Okay.
And I'll throw some more quotes in there too.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. He beats himself up over the stuff, like he carries he carries this guilt like as a thing. And he is immensely self-sacrificing, in part because of the slip-ups that he made.
Yes.
When he made the mistake of being selfish, his uncle died.
Right.
And so that turned him being basically a good kid, but a dumb kid, into being this Apollonian, I have to do, like, cannot not do the right thing.
Right.
Kind of figure. And I'm torn because on the one hand, there is a very strong kind of Hufflepuff drive there for looking out for others and being the guardian and the caretaker and all of that. By the same token, he's very rarely a member of a team as a defining characteristic. He's very much he is that dude.
Yeah, that's true.
And he is in many ways like he has the same kind of character drive as Cap.
Yeah.
In that this is a sense of duty, and it is a very personal sense of duty.
And he's the only one who can do it sometimes too.
I am the only one. 308 rule. I'm the only one here who can do this. And so that pushes me in the direction of and then we have when he puts on the mask and he becomes Spidey, he is a smartass, and he has a lot of fun with his powers.
Yep.
And he's very, very smart, but he has to work really hard to force himself to come up with a plan a lot of the time.
All right, so here's a couple quotes to help muddy those waters. Back up everything you said, basically. Here's one. You're the creep who's going to pay. I'm going to get you, Goblin. I'm going to destroy you slowly, and when you start begging for me to end it, I'm going to remind you of one thing. You killed the woman I love, and for that, you're going to die.
Dark side Gryffindor.
Oh, I was thinking dark side Hufflepuff. You killed the person I loved. All right, here's another one. Fate gave me some terrific superpowers, and I realize now it's my duty to use them without doubt, without hesitation. And that means Spider-Man is going into action again. I'll fight as I've never fought before. Nothing will stop me now, for I know at last that a man can't change his destiny. I was born to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's some notes there that come off as kind of Slytherin-esque. Yeah, I was born to this. Da da da. I think
here's
some of that though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we have to keep in mind, what era of the comic did that particular mini monologue come from?
That was early 60s.
And that kind of flowery language was just that was just part of the art form.
Oh yeah. Here's another one that will throw some mess into the fire for you. I should really redesign my web shooters so this won't happen again. Either that or sew a change pocket into my costume so I can carry bus fare. No, with a costume this tight, people might think I had cellulite. That's Ravenclaw and Gryffindor.
Yeah. And the thing is, as Hermione Granger has shown us, you can be smart and be a Gryffindor.
That's true.
I'm going to say that he is a case of somebody who made a choice in the hat, and the choice that he made. Harry was not Slytherin, not Slytherin. I think Peter Parker, if the hat started to be lowered down on his head, he would hear the hat saying, "Oh, you're a nerd. oh my boy, are you a nerd?
You're such a Ravenclaw.
And he'd be like, you're such a, but you've got this, this drive about, doing the right thing. And I can see in you that there's this trait of, you want to cut loose and be this other, swashbuckling kind of guy in your own head.
But at the same time, you've got this loyalty to family. Here's another quote real quick. I blew it, Strange. I did the one thing I promised myself I would never do. I put my family in the crosshairs, and no matter how many times I go over it in my head, I keep coming back to the same thing. I need the world to forget that I'm Spider-Man.
Okay.
Because he suffers greatly with his secret identity and goes through so much to keep people safe. That whole thing is about the other, not about him.
Yeah. I think it comes back around to a sense of duty, and I think it comes back around to having made one terrible mistake at the very, in his origin story. And what I was coming around to is, I think based on that one mistake and wanting to make up for that one mistake, what he told the Hat was, I want to be in the house Cap is in. Because so much of his internal dialogue and so much of what you see him saying to other characters echoes so much of what you hear out of Cap's mouth about doing the right thing and sense of duty and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's really hard to pin down, but canonically Harry was really hard to pin down.
True.
Even though
Harry chose where he would be.
And Harry chose
and Peter Parker
to go.
Kind of. Okay, here's another one. I'm done accepting things the way they are. I swear to you from now on, whenever I'm around, wherever I am, no one dies. He's tilting back to Slytherin. Because I'm the one that's going to stop that. But then here's the final quote I'll kick your way. Anyone can win a fight when the odds are easy. It's when the going's tough, when there seems to be no chance. That's when it counts.
Gryffindor. So I think...
I will tell you, I never put him into a house, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I could not on my own. I absolutely need this to be done dialogically. And I wonder if he's the one character that you can't put into a house. Because he's actually the most fully fleshed out character. He's archetypical, and yet he is so thoroughly human.
Well, here's the deal. His archetype is the everyman. From the very beginning, the whole conceit of creating him wasn't. Sorry. For those of you listening, that noise you may have just heard in the background, since Damian reacted to it, I'm sure you all did.
Yeah.
My family has adopted a now 10-week-old kitten who is prowling around here in the living room and just managed to get herself into trouble by knocking over a chair. So anyway, I'll have to be dealing with that in a minute. But the whole conceit for Spider-Man wasn't from the beginning. I'm gonna have this arachnid themed superhero. Ronald. All right. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Got a little bit of a literacy primer there for everybody. Yeah. Anyway. Are you quite done? Okay. But the conceit was, I'm going to take a high school kid and I'm going to make a high school kid into a superhero. I'm going to write stories about what would that look like. And so the core of the character, like Bruce Wayne, is the appendage to Batman.
Yes.
Narratively speaking, Batman as the character, Bruce Wayne is the alter ego.
Right.
That's not the case with Peter Parker.
Very good point.
That's not how Spider-Man. That's not Spider-Man's genesis. And so the archetype is one that winds up being fully fleshed out because the source of the drama in his life isn't we're part of a subspecies of humanity that's being hunted down and persecuted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not I'm this guy who became a super soldier through scientific experimentation or whatever.
Right.
His defining characteristic is I'm a junior in high school and I have to figure out how to get my homework done when I'm also the guy who can stop the Rhino from robbing a bank.
Yeah. I have to pay the rent still.
Yeah, I gotta pay the rent after he graduates high school. I gotta get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Later on he becomes a science teacher and he's got to grade papers, which
right.
makes him my favorite forever for that. And it's so he is the most fully fleshed out character,
mm-hmm.
while simultaneously being archetypal because that's his archetype.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really hard to pin him down. In the end, I think if Victor Von Doom, strapped him down to a machine and forced the hat onto his head, I think he'd wind up, choosing Gryffindor.
I agree. Because he chooses it every night.
Because that's the guy that is the mantle he takes on.
Yeah.
All the time. And I think that conscious choice is a really, really important part of his character and a really important part of what makes him admirable and compelling and really makes him heroic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you got me my full agreement there. I think he is a chosen Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Now that we're thinking about it, I realized that I left out heroes that I really wanted to get in there and I didn't get to. So I'm not going to do them here. What I want people to do is to reach out to us on the social medias.
Yeah.
So you can hit me up at DaHarmony, either on Insta or in the Twitterverse. And let me know what superheroes you think should be sorted, and tell me what house you think and why. Where can they tell you this?
If they want to pass this along to me, I can be found on Instagram at Mr. Blaylock, Mr. Blaylock, and on the Twitter I'm at Blaylock. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can send this to both of us simultaneously on Twitter at Geek History Time.
Yes. So, do we have anything that we recommend to people to read this week? I know I got those a little out of order, but it seemed fitting.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. No, I think just I'm going to say go back and pick any one of a number of really great time periods from especially the X-Men, but I think the Avengers as well, and just go back and take a look at the ways in which these characters manage to embody these archetypes. I think is worth thinking about.
I agree. I think that's a pretty good way to go about it. I would recommend that you look into some of the later Spider-Man versus Venom stuff.
Okay.
Oh, cute kitty. But some of the later Spider-Man versus Venom stuff, because he really gets into the I created this guy problem, and the responsibility that comes with that, on top of all the other responsibility that he has. I think that's really good. I think Spider-Man has always been a more exciting comic book to read than Captain America, despite them both choosing the same kind of Determinator, Gryffindor aspect, because Spider-Man has problems. So I'm going to keep my
Spider
recommendation Spider-Man centric this time.
Yeah, yeah. Spidey actually has a day-to-day life he's got to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Through his apotheosis, Cap kind of moved out of a world in which he needed to worry about that stuff.
Well, Cap isn't Steve Rogers. He's Cap.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's Peter Parker. And that's far more fascinating. So, yeah, I think that's about as far as I'll go with that. So, and we already talked about where people can meet you out in these streets, catch these hands. That's good. Ed will fight you. I won't.
I will because I'm a Gryffindor.
Right. I won't. I will hug you. Because it's part of a greater plan. Let's be honest. I will pretend to be Hufflepuff, but we all know that I'm.
No, you're way, 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 way too in love with your own cleverness.
Yeah, that's not wrong. So, cool. Well, for Geek History of Time, I'm Damian Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock. And until next time, keep rolling 20s.
Cute kitty.